17th, 2018. My name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla here in New Mexico with your legislative update for the day. I got a good informational briefing today about Roe versus Wade. So as many of you know, there will be a new Supreme Court justice here pretty soon. There's a very, very good chance this guy named Kavanaugh, who Donald Trump has appointed to the Supreme Court, will get confirmed by the Senate. That's not a done deal, but it looks like it's probably going to happen. And if that is the case, Trump has said during the campaign for president that he would only appoint people who would be good with overturning Roe versus Wade. So in 1973, the Supreme Court made a decision making it unconstitutional for a state to deny the ability to have an abortion until viability, which is usually considered, I think, the 22nd or 23rd week. Now, as many of you who are involved in politics know, there have been all sorts of policy arguments about this. You know, when to allow late-term abortions. Should we ban them completely? Should we allow them completely? Should we only allow them when the case of the life of the mother is at stake? What kind of procedures should be allowed? You saw in Texas where, in an effort to really restrict abortion, they said you have to do them in, for instance, hospitals, even though it's really not an inpatient procedure. Do you have to get counseling or not? All those things have been around. Here are the nuts and bolts of the situation. So New Mexico, if you live here, had a law in place in 1973 banning abortion completely. And if Roe versus Wade is overturned and that law is not changed in the legislature before then the process of abortion will be illegal here. Now, there have been some arguments in our Supreme Court with some possibilities that a court could say our state constitution grants that right to a woman to have that choice, but there would probably have to be a court case done after that to make that happen. I know there's going to be an effort in the legislature to try to decriminalize abortion, and if that happens, obviously, then whatever the state came up with, if Roe versus Wade was overturned, would be the law of the land here. I know there will be a ton of states, Texas for one, many of the states in the South and the Midwest, that will make it illegal. Now, for a lot of folks, this is about abortion. A lot of people believe life begins at conception, and that's murder. However, there are a lot of other folks that say that that's not really what this is about, that this is about really taking away the rights of women to have control over their own bodies and have control over their own lives. And there are a lot of people that are worried, that say the same people that are worried about abortion, and that's pro-life and blah, 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 are also trying to restrict things like birth control and access to other types of reproductive health that women would have. So that's kind of the big discussion going on right now. I do know that one of the real worries, if Roe versus Wade is overturned and New Mexico does not change its law, is that there were apparently very many people who would resort to going to illegal means in the underground market of getting abortions. Now, in the bad old days, the kind of really bad example of that was the wire hanger, right? Now there's a lot of drugs that allow that, and in fact there's a lot of searches that go on right now for people who don't want to go in and get an abortion in a healthcare facility, a lot of times because in a lot of states access is really hard, to try to find the drugs that they can get to do abortion without medical help, and that can be dangerous as well. That's the situation that we find ourselves in. If you care about this issue, I am pro-choice, and I do believe that a woman should have the right to take control of her own body and should have her own reproductive health options, then I would, and I will, but I encourage you to do so, to get involved in the election process this year. There will be a lot of elections for the House of Representatives and governor, and the fact that Roe versus Wade has a very good chance of being overturned right now will mean that the state of New Mexico will decide its own way forward with this issue, and it's up to you as a constituent to make your wishes known in the election. So that's the way things are going right now. As always, I appreciate everyone listening to this, and I hope that everyone has a good rest of your week, and please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Thanks, everybody.